Morning, Terhemen.
Good morning.
So it looks like it's just the two of us today. You're going to be working on the integrated project?
Yes.
Okay. So this is pretty straightforward project, and if you might be able to just get it done today, and you wouldn't even have to come back next week, and you'd be all done with the course. You're in good shape grade-wise. So the integrated project, to take it, you have to have passed Excel. You pass the Excel unit. So here's what you're going to do, and here are the instructions. So you're going to create a spreadsheet with 5 different sheets. Right, here are the instructions. I'm going to walk you through it, and then we'll come back and read the instructions again. So if you click on the learning activities, you're in Unit 6, Integrated Final Project. If you click on the learning activities, you'll find the integrated project book. And if you download that, you'll find an example of the integrated project. And just like we saw in the presentation, or just like we saw in the instructions in the Dropbox, you got a spreadsheet here with 5 different sheets: a cover sheet, a memo, analysis, presentation edition, and the presentation itself. So I would probably start with the analysis section. So what you're going to do is you're going to go back and look at one of the PowerPoints that you did in the PowerPoint unit. And then you're going to take a little deep dive into one aspect. So you can look at any data you want, but you're going to have to collect enough data to make a table, and then use that table to make a chart. So do you remember what the topic of your presentation was, by any chance?
In PowerPoint?
Yeah.
It was something has to do with I think it was on exercise, something like that.
On exercise or something? Okay.
Yeah.
So you could collect any data that you wanted related to exercise if that was the topic of your PowerPoint presentation. So you could look at different pieces of equipment and how much they cost. You could do a breakdown of time and how much you exercised last week. You know, anything that would provide you with some data that you could make a table and make a chart.
Okay. Yeah, I understand.
Okay, so after you have your table and your chart made, go into the memo tab. You can use this as a template for your memo, right? And you're going to write a memo talking about what your analysis is showing. You'll make a cover sheet. And then for sheet 4 and sheet 5, this is the presentation edition and the presentation. So for both of these, you're going to go to Insert. And in the text menu, you're going to use your object tool. So you're going to insert an object. And objects, if you just hover your cursor over that tool, objects, embedded objects are documents or other files you have inserted into this document. So basically it'll save one document inside of another. So for the presentation edition, you're going to use your analysis, and you can just take your chart you've created and copy and paste it in a slide, put a title on there is really all you'd need to do. So you're going to insert object. And there are 2 different things you can do. You can create a completely new object, which is what we're going to do in this case. And then you can also create objects from files that you already have saved somewhere. And that's what we're going to do in sheet 5. But sheet 4, the presentation edition, we're going to insert a new slide. We'll find one of these. Here's a Microsoft PowerPoint 97 to 2003 slide. There are other ones you can use as well. Right, and this will allow you to insert a new slide into your presentation. Right, and when you're done, you can see the slides right there. Right, so whatever changes you make, it'll actually save that slide into your Excel file. We'll do the same thing in the presentation tab. Right, we go to Insert, Text Menu, Object. Now we're not going to create a new file. Now you want to add that slide to your original presentation. If you don't know where you have that presentation saved, you can always pull it up right from the Dropbox. So if you go back into PowerPoint and you look at the Dropbox that you submitted that PowerPoint into, you can pull that file up directly from the Dropbox. So now we're not going to create a new file, right? We're going to use that existing PowerPoint, add the new slide to it. I don't think I've got this is kind of a new computer that I've gotten here. So I don't have any documents to insert. But you'll browse the location where you've saved that file. Here's one. Okay. Here's a Word document that I'll put in. You can have it displayed as a link to the file, displayed as an icon. If you don't click anything, it'll just show the front page. So now here's a Word document that I've got saved as an object inside of my Excel file. And if I double click on it, right, it'll actually open up that Word file. So now that Word file is permanently saved in the Excel file. And if you go back to the instructions for the integrated project, this is basically what the instructions for the assignment are going to walk you through. Sheet 1, create a title page. Sheet 3, write a memo summarizing your findings. Or sorry, sheet 2. Sheet 3, use a spreadsheet to analyze the data related to your chosen field or whatever the topic of your presentation was. Sheet 4, create a new slide. Sheet 5, put your updated PowerPoint in as an object. Do you have any questions before you get started? All right, well, I'll give you some time to work.
Okay.